Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the OverMark Podcast. Today, we got the biggest and the best episode yet. So you wanted the latest and greatest? You've come to the right place. No need to sweat. And that brings me to the man who makes this all worthwhile. The Grand Marshal of wrestling style. The man you'll fight if you badmouth Hulk Hogan. And yes, he believes in Stone Cold Steve Austin. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages across the world, the one, the only, Dave.
Wow, thank you for that wonderful introduction, TJ. That's pretty nice.
No problem. And we also have a shout out to the first person to join our Discord, B Ice. So thank you for joining. We saw him pop in last night.
B Ice. Hell
I think. Yeah. Number one, anybody else wants to jump in there, we're going to eventually make it a community to talk about wrestling and all kinds of other stuff that we're interested in, and hopefully you would be too. And that's going to bring us to our topic here, which is going to be Raw from August 11th, 2025, and Dynamite from August 13th, 2025. We got a lot of news today, and we're going to talk about WWE Unreal Episode 3. So before we get into it, just check out our social medias, like always, at OverMark ENT. If they exist, there's a good chance that we're on it, we're there, and you can check us out. And that being said, we're going to jump into WWE Raw here. It has an attendance, which are tickets distributed, of 9,291. They say that because they may not all necessarily have been sold, like maybe they gave some away or whatever. So I guess the word sold isn't fair. They had a set up for 97.21, so I'm sure they, gave out a lot of cheap tickets at the end or filled them up. And they were at they had 430 left, and they were at the what is it, Center Videotron, Quebec,
Videotron?
Canada. Yeah, that shouldn't have been so hard to read, but I was like, wait, is that seriously what that's called?
It was tripping me up there for a second too.
Yeah, so anyways, we're going to do our quick rundown here. It's where we basically just talk about the segment, and then we give a one word if we're really not feeling it, or just a quick breakdown of that segment. And then afterwards, we're going to go ahead and give it a little rating. I think me and old Dave here forgot to put it in, so this week it's going to be, we're coming up with it off the top of our head, so it's going to be our natural rating here. So that being said, we got El Grande Americano and the WWE man, I'm just messing up already. And the WWE International Champion, Dirty Dominic Mysterio, and they defeated AJ Styles and Dragon Lee in a tag team match.
They also defeated that other guy that you mentioned too.
Whoever it may have been, but this is just okay. Nothing too much, just something to keep all these guys busy.
Pretty much. Decent match. It reminded me of a AEW match.
Did it?
A little bit, if we're being honest. Yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't the worst, but it was just, it was there. And then we had Sami Zayn defeating Rusev via DQ. By the books. Sami Zayn, while he's a great talent, he's not doing anything very extraordinary right now. And I feel like everybody's just kind of bored with Rusev already. And then we got Roxanne Perez defeating Io Sky. That was a surprise one there. I liked this match. It was decent.
Yeah, I liked it too. Anybody that's listened to the show before knows I'm a big fan of Roxanne, so it's cool that they've been using her so much for the entire year, even before they brought her up.
Yeah.
I liked this match.
And then we have the man Becky Lynch defeating Maxine Dupree via submission to retain the WWE Women's Intercontinental Championship. It was junk.
It was honestly better than I expected, but it still wasn't very good.
Well, like Maxine, it was her birthday, so they got her on there, but she's still very, very jerky, not smooth. Just she's not a natural at this.
Yeah, she's not fluid. One thing that I will mention is obviously we watched Raw with Brandon this week, like we do most weeks, and he was very into Maxine Dupree. He was very excited for her.
Give him a couple years. Well, he's eventually going to turn into a jaded fan. Everybody goes through their phases. So then we had LA Knight and CM Punk defeating The Vision, Braun Breaker, and Big Bronson Reed via DQ in a tag team match. This was all right. You know, it led to the after match beating and all that, and then all the people coming out trying to save them, and it was a decent little aftermath, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's a good. I enjoy all the people in the match, and it is leading somewhere. It's not just a match for the sake of a match. Obviously, we'll end up seeing like a 3-on-3, or they'll probably. I'm assuming that this is probably leading to Survivor Series. A little bit more long-term storytelling than just Clash in Paris. Obviously there'll probably be some kind of thing there, but I imagine there'll be like a Survivor Series of like Punk, LA Knight, Roman, Jay, whomever the fifth man would be versus.
Didn't they just announce a 4-way or something?
Did they?
Yeah, I could be wrong, but I think they announced a
shit.
4-way against everybody. It's like Seth, Jay, Punk, and LA Knight. But
I don't think that makes sense.
I don't know. I could be wrong, but I maybe I made
No,
that
I
up.
believe that they would make the match. I 100% believe you. I just don't think that's the smartest matchmaking.
I don't know. They haven't been doing a lot of that lately. And my high point here was the CM Punk LA Knight promo at the beginning, and the match was pretty decent too. But those were my two favorite things of the show. We'll just group them up.
Yeah, I mean that's there's like you put in the notes here. There isn't any way that couldn't be the high point of the show.
Yeah, I mean the show. It wasn't like by any means the worst show in the world. I did enjoy it, but anyways, my low point was Becky Lynch defeating Maxine Dupree.
Yeah, that's a respectable low point. I almost picked that one, but I picked Sammy versus Rusev because I'm kind of tired of seeing Rusev and then it was just to further the Sheamus Rusev stuff and give Sammy a match in his hometown.
Yeah. Well,
so that was a match for the sake of having a match, essentially.
Yeah, 100%. But they're enjoying them, I guess. But Brandon said that he lost respect for him, considering the pants he was wearing.
Oh,
we won't go any further on that. I know, but I'm just saying I don't want anybody to tag us here on the algorithm, so we'll just mention that part. But it's always something. But that being said, I gave this a 5.
I was feeling a little generous. I gave it a 6. At first, I was going to give it a 6.5, and then I reevaluated it and felt I was being generous with the 6. So I whittled it back down to a 6. It was a slightly better than average show, just because of the start and finish of it.
Yeah, well, that's the case a lot on Raw these days, I believe, and pretty accurate. And if you want, you can jump us into our next just really big recap here.
Oh boy, what a show we've got here for you in respects to AEW Dynamite. It's from yesterday, August 13th, 2025. The attendance on record here says that there were 1,393 tickets distributed, and it was set up for 1,535. So it says that there were 142 available. They probably, ended up with a sellout.
Well, I saw empty seats, but it looked like way more than 1,500. I thought 3,000 people were in there.
Oh, wow. Wow. That's just what it says. It's at the Andrew J. Brady Music Center in Cincinnati, Ohio. It looked good. Yeah, but man, it's in Cincinnati, Ohio. And I don't have to tell anybody that lives in Ohio that Ohio isn't great. They know because they live there.
Ohio to London.
I'm not crazy about Ohio, but anyway, the show is not about my love or lack thereof for Ohio. It's about we're talking about Dynamite. So before we jump into the show, our folks over at WrestleNomics, the fine friends of whatever the hell wrestling,
the guys we give like $5 a month to give us the good wrestling viewership breakdown.
That's right.
Yep.
And here it is. The AEW Dynamite ratings from August 13th, 2025. We have a viewership of 690,000 with they're down 3% from last week. Last week they had 711,000, but they're up 10% versus the trailing 4-week average of 630,000. So they're kind of on an upward trend right now, we could say. Even though they're a little down from last week, they're still up from the last month overall. So good on you, AEW. We have a 0.17 of the 18 to 49. They seem to kind of hang out around that 0.17, 0.16, it seems, most weeks. They're ranked number 1 on cable for the night in the demo and number 6 overall, including broadcast. So that's pretty good, you know, when you factor in the over-the-air channels, ABC, Fox, NBC, CBS, that sort of thing. The, let's see, the quarterly comparison, we had a 2025 quarter 3 average of 633,000, and down 9% from the 2024 quarter 3 of 696,000. So while they are trending up for this year, overall they might be trending down a little bit. A lot of trending going on with them. Yeah. Monthly comparison here, we got August 2025 average so far 700,000, up 3% from August 24. August
2024.
I don't know why I can't talk. 2024, 680,000 there. So if you think that I have some kind of disability, you might be right. Anyway, AEW is holding on to that number 1 spot on cable in 18 to 49, even though with a slight dip from last week. The bigger picture, year over year, they're still down for the quarter, but August's average is actually running ahead of last year, which for a company that's had a rough summer in ratings is at least a small win. So good job there, AEW.
So, not too bad. It's higher than it has been, which is 630K on average, like you said. But the problem is like how they had 711, so they've lost 20,000 viewers compared to last week. And normally when it comes to wrestling ratings, they're not immediate. If you have good shows, you kind of reflect it about like a month later, something like that, maybe a month and a half. So when you have the bad shows after people started tuning in that weren't really watching because like, oh, they put on a couple good shows, I'm going to keep tuning in, and then you have bad shows, it will trickle back down, you will find that they are going to be right back down to that average here in about 2 to 3 weeks. They just haven't had compelling television.
Somewhere in there, yeah.
They're lucky they got MJF. He is carrying this fucking show on his back.
He is. When we do High Point every week for AEW, it's hard to not just put whatever his segment is as the high point. And
we'll talk about that after. Let's break this down.
Yeah. So anyway, we got the quick match results here. We got Jon Moxley defeating Kevin Knight in a match that I didn't want to see. Yeah.
I don't know. It's weird that they have John working with Jet Speed like 2 weeks in a row. It was Kevin Bailey last week and then Kevin Knight this week, and I guess they're just the Kevins. But overall, this is a sloppy match. Kevin Knight's not bad, but it's not bad for this company to have Moxley on TV because he is going to retain your audience more than some random person that people don't know. He still has a little bit of the WWE stink left on him. So, I mean, at least he's got that going for him. But go on ahead.
I feel like he's almost got go away heat with me at this point. I don't know if I'll ever be able to. 2019, 2020, Jon Moxley needs to come back is all I'm saying.
WWE fan forgets. Where's Dean Ambrose at? Like a casual fan, and they're just scrolling. Oh, here's wrestling. Yeah. What's he doing here? That's all I'm saying. Maybe that could retain.
Oh my God, he's getting stabbed in the head with a fork. What am I watching?
No, skewers.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was rough. And then in the next match here, we got Alex Windsor, Queen Aminata, and Willow Nightingale
Oh,
defeating
she's willing.
the TBS. Yeah, her too. She defeated Mercedes Moné, Tekla, and Sky Blue. It's all right. I like Sky Blue and I like Willow. So I was able to find a little bit of redeemingness in this, and then we discovered that move that Queen Aminata does is called the Chocolate Kisses, which is kind of gross when you think about that.
Yeah, it's like poop. I'm
Yeah.
not into that at all.
No.
But
No.
yeah,
bunch of fecal files.
they're just keeping them on the show. That's all this match was.
Yep. Well, we got the next match. Adam Copeland, as if there was any question as to who was going to win this match, defeated Stokely Hathaway, and then it led to a pretty cool exchange where FTR came out and Cope kind of fought the three of them off for a little bit, and then obviously the numbers game took advantage and they got the upper hand on him. And then our boy Christian Cage comes to the rescue. Pretty cool stuff. Yep. Enjoyed this for the most part, the segment more so than the match, just the entirety of it.
Same. It was cool seeing them back together, but it's kind of weird that like one guy tried to kill the other guy not too long ago multiple times, and it's like, oh, no big deal. But that's wrestling.
Yeah, but when you're friends, shit gets forgiven quick.
Yeah, it's wrestling.
Yeah, especially. And then we had this is one of those famous AEW matches, the All-Star 8-man tag match. I don't know about All-Star, but we got Hiromu Takahashi versus and Hologram and Brody King and Tam Ishii, goddamn, defeating Kyle Fletcher, the Young Bucks, and Josh Alexander. A whole bunch of guys they don't know what to do with, I guess. I don't know.
So
why are we still seeing Ishii?
So this is an all-star 8-man match, right? Takahashi, not an all-star. Maybe in NJPW, but not here. Hologram, not an all-star. Brody King, not an all-star. Tomohiro Ishii, not an all-star. Maybe in Japan, not on this show. Kyle Fletcher, they're working. I'm not going to talk bad about him. The Young Bucks,
he's getting there.
Not all-stars. Josh Alexander, not an all-star. So it's what? Like there's no all-stars in this all-star match? You explain.
No stars.
Explain this to me. An all-star match. Kenny Omega, Will Ospreay, Swerve Strickland versus like I don't know, like Daniel Bryan,
Moxley,
MJF. Yeah, like Go ahead.
That's all-star.
Yeah.
No, you're right.
I don't know.
It's just goofy.
Yeah. Why didn't they toss a money gimmick on this match?
Oh, before we get into this next match, it's funny that you bring this up. I saw the preview for Collision, and guess what? There's $100,000 match on the card.
What a moron.
I meant to tell you about it earlier, but I'm glad I got to tell you about it on the show,
yeah.
And that you didn't already know about it, so that we could get a nice, genuine TJ reaction there. That's good stuff.
Yeah, it's like you might as well put $100,000 Monopoly money as the gimmick because that's what it is. That stinks.
They're trying to give you a reason to care about the match. You want to give me a reason to care about the match? Put people that are in the match and give me a reason to care about it.
Essentially, yeah, that's all it takes. Let's move on.
Easy. We got World Trios champions, the Ops, in a non-title match. Samoa Joe, Shibata, and Powerhouse Hobbs defeating LFI, which, in case you don't know, consists of Roosh, don't know why I couldn't say that, Dralistico, and the Beast Mortos. And we talked about this last episode. If you want people to take your show seriously, you don't need to be having guys like the Beast Mortos on your show.
It doesn't matter if he can do little moves and stuff like that. Everybody on the show can do moves, and there's a difference as to people that are over other people that are making people care. Swerve, Will, MJF, Adam Page, like all the people that are over are the people that can make you care and talk. And there are spots for luchadors on the show, but not 26 of them all in the same exact spot doing the same exact stuff every week.
Right.
Never talking, never have anyone talk for them, and it's just they're there.
Interchangeable Luchador number 5 defeated Interchangeable Luchador number 10.
Yep.
In a match no one cared about. Yeah.
that did happen.
One other thing, Osprey coming back and them going
2 weeks
to do the cage match and all that stuff. I don't know if like he is shoot injured or like that was just a work to get him off TV for a little while and they're just doing like storytelling.
I think the
But
guy's an idiot.
If he's still hurt, I mean, like you don't recover from what did they say? He had bulging discs or whatever.
Yeah.
Some kind of disc issue in his back. You don't recover from that in the what has he been gone 3 weeks, a month?
Yep.
That's like a months of recovery, and then maybe you can start taking bumps and work your way back into being in the ring. So he's either, not being very smart with his body or wasn't as injured as they are saying. One or the other.
I don't know. Just probably doesn't want to miss the pay-per-view and is putting his body on the line.
I mean, and 100% respect it. And, these people put their bodies on the line every week. And sometimes we do kind of talk shitty about their matches, and anything can happen in these matches. But I just, a guy like Osprey, it can be their number one talent for as long as they can keep him signed. And he doesn't need to be out there potentially risking career-ending injury or, being injured for a longer period of time than what he would be if he just stayed home now. Yeah. Anyway, we're going to do high point, low point now. And for me, the high point was Cope and Christian reuniting finally. This is a really big deal for me. Edge and Christian were some of my guys. I was a real big fan of the Brood. I was like the goth kid teenager. I'm sure that you can tell. And this was just really cool for me. Edge and Christian were a big part of my teenage years and early adulthood. So it's really rad to see them together now for what I assume will be their last run. I hope they do for the benefit of those with flash photography and start doing some goofy posts at some point. Obviously they need to be serious for now. There's enough goofs on AEW, but their comedy stuff was top tier.
Well,
what was your high point?
I actually believe them beating the Hurt Syndicate, so at least there's that. They can have credible guys go after them. But it was MJF, like we were talking in the beginning. He continues to be the bright spot on this show every week. The promo at the beginning, the beat down, he's the man. Super entertaining. Great look, great promo, great in the ring. And they don't overexpose him to where they have him on the show every week doing the same stuff everybody else does. So he remains, different than everybody else. And I don't know.
He stays fresh somehow.
I guess I'll give this one a 4 for just MJF specifically. This show was a fucking wreck.
Yeah. Well, I gave it a 3. It just was I don't know. I've been fairly turned off to AEW lately. I want to like it and I want it to be good. And I just, I yearned for days past of AEW where it was just a little different, and I felt like it was a little better even though it was less polished than it is now. I don't know how you could be less polished than it is now. But anyway, we've skipped over our low points, I think, so we're going to get it in here real quick. Mine was Moxley versus Kevin Knight. I don't really particularly care for Jet Speed, and John Moxley has been devalued so far in how he's been used for the last few years that I need a reset on him at a minimum.
Yeah, I don't know what they're going to do with him. I don't want to see him too much, but mine was the All-Star 8-man tag match. It was just garbage at its finest, you know what I mean? Nothing on the line. I've seen the same match every week for the past almost 6 years. It's just like throwing crap at a wall and hoping it sticks. It's like I don't know. Brody King's terrible, man. He just moves like garbage. They're not letting these guys sell for him. They're making him sell for these midget guys. Make it make sense, And I could believe in Darby, how he's small and how he uses his physicality to hurt these guys. But I don't know, man. No thanks.
Yeah, it was hard for me to not pick that as the low point, but I mean, they combine
Well, you know I gotcha.
Moxley and Jet Speed.
Yeah, you know I gotcha. So we can cover all of it. But I think that being said, we can get rid of the modern wrestling here, and we can talk about a little modern wrestling news. Oh wow!
And I got news for you.
Oh,
yeah, we do.
Well, thanks, Ice Cube, or whatever your name is. I always mix it up.
That's Ice T.
All right, that's it. Well, same thing, man. They'll figure it out. But we're going to jump into this news topic here, and it's Karrion Kross and Scarlett official exit from WWE. They are now free agents. It's been one heck of a week for these guys. You know, they've been all over the news. It's stories evolving every day, and we're going to catch you up on it just in case maybe you want to hear a different, fresh take on it, or just be caught up entirely. We're going to have the whole thing for you. And as of August 10th, 2025, Karrion Kross and Scarlett's WWE contracts have expired, moving them to the alumni section of WWE.com, per Fightful, off WWE's internal active roster. So, on the Ariel Helwani show, Kross confirmed that it's not a storyline, and he's no longer under contract. WWE only made him an offer last week, just days before his deal expired. He asked for metrics or analytics to understand how WWE came to their valuation. They refused to provide them and told him that he had 24 hours to accept or they pull the offer. When he asked again for the info the next day, they still didn't have it, so he requested to keep the dialogue open. Instead, WWE rescinded the offer. Scarlett was never offered a contract, and Kross was told that they'd deal with her after his situation was resolved. Kross stressed that both he and Scarlett still want to be in WWE, and he has not walked away from talks. But no one from the company has reached out since the offer was pulled. He said that he would have preferred to negotiate directly with Triple H, as in the past. I guess that's what they did, but instead through a company-appointed rep. But that's not how this works in TKO. It's business. There's agents. There's people that they hire to do this stuff. Triple H has more important stuff to do. If you're the Undertaker or Stone Cold or The Rock trying to come back for WrestleMania, yeah, he's the guy dealing with you. But no, Karrion Kross, you're just not at. It just isn't. You're not there yet. And the sad thing here is that these guys are talented. I don't know about the wife. I've never seen her do anything beyond showing up and just having them things hang and them looking all right. But I mean, beyond that, she doesn't seem to have much value. And the best stuff that he did was related around Sammy, and that was okay, I guess. But overall, he just seems like another guy, and they have an unlimited amount of guys right now. And I'm not saying I'm not a fan, but there wasn't anything I saw on him that they couldn't pull 100 guys out and have a very similar outcome happen. And you're just a little part of the cog, or you're just a part of the wheel, whatever the thing is, and he's not anymore, and they'll be fine. They're not going to lose out of any money, and they'll bring in somebody that'll probably get more over than he did. I wish him success. I know that TNA's probably gave him that offer because he said he had a major offer from another company. I doubt it was AEW. I think that they're kind of lightening up on hiring the WWE guys because it hasn't worked out with a lot of people wanting to go back, like an Aleister Black or someone along those lines. But in the end, I wish this guy luck. You got to play ball, and they probably wanted to get him in for this money, and I'm going to give you Vince thing. It's the opportunity, and they may have been ready to once they locked him in. And when you're running near the end of your contract and they're not sure you're going to re-sign, why would they invest in you? Of course you're going to lose that match. Of course they're not going to push you to a prominent position that you want because you're about to be out the door. Everything's just a number to them right now. They're trying to pay off this loan from WWE and UFC. Everybody's on the chopping block if you're not bringing in the money. And it's no different with some guy that's never really had the opportunity he's had the opportunity, but they never strapped a rocket to him. But that's really all I got to say about that. If he really does well, maybe he can go out and do the Cody, prove himself, come back and be super over, but I'm not sure how old he is, and it's only just ticking away, and they're just going to get somebody else in there. That's how she goes.
He's closing in on 40 if he's not already.
CNN JPW.
I always enjoyed his promo work and things of that nature. I felt like his in-ring kind of was a little dull.
Yeah.
I don't know. He also did say that WWE had told him, hey, basically along the lines of don't go out there and try to hit a home run, just go out there and do a good job.
They say that everybody, unless it's a pay-per-view. They don't give away the big matches on TV a lot of the time, so that's not surprising that they said that to me or said that to him.
Yeah.
Got anything else to add on that?
Yeah, I think that's about it. We can move on to the next topic.
All right, well, I'm going to tag you in for this one.
All right, well, I was able to be at the corner, and I was holding on to that little white rope, and we made a legal tag.
Oh.
We got a news topic here as I get into the ring. Chris Jericho recalls Hulk Hogan shaking his hand in front of the WCW locker room.
Well, let me tell you something, brother.
I wonder what he told him.
Yeah, well, we'll find out, I think, maybe. On a special tribute episode of Talk is Jericho, Chris Jericho shared personal memories of Hulk Hogan from both WCW and WWE, describing him as generous, respectful, and kind. The WCW handshake moment during Jericho and Goldberg's feud, Hogan shocked the locker room by walking in, asking for Jericho by name, and publicly shaking his hand, calling him a smart guy. House show trust. In the early 2000s, he had his WWE run. Hogan worked with Jericho on a dozen non-televised events, letting Jericho call the matches entirely. And both of them have talked about this. I've heard both of them talk about this. Jericho literally just called the matches in the ring, and Hogan said that he would work with Jericho every day and called it a day off. Yeah. So, I mean, for Hulk Hogan to give you that compliment and let you run the matches, that's great. He got private jet rides as part of Hogan's deal. Vince McMahon flew him on private jets to the shows, and Hogan often invited Jericho along. That was until their house show program ended, and then Jericho said, "I was off the plane." Even with the heel turn in WCW, Hogan patiently signed autographs and took pictures, even when woken up on flights. I've heard the same thing about him. Jericho's stories paint Hogan as the kind of guy who didn't have to be nice to you, but went out of his way to make you feel respected. Whether it was shaking your hand in front of the whole WCW locker room or letting you run the match on the road. And yeah, maybe he kicked you off the private jet the moment the program ended, but hey, at least you were on for the ride while it lasted, brother. That's a pretty cool little story. I always enjoy hearing these different things. And I've definitely heard, like I had just said about Jericho and Hogan talking about those times positively. Yeah.
Pretty cool. Jericho's he had to get the Hogan rub. He had to talk about him. He sucks off that energy of everybody else. But
the Jericho vortex or whatever it is.
Yeah, but. No, I mean, how can't you? Everybody's getting the rub. We're getting the rub. I don't know anybody that isn't.
Yeah, we're talking about someone talking about it.
but anyways, he just said the same thing everybody else did. He was generous to the fans. He was a nice guy. If he liked you, saw your stuff, he'd go out of his way to introduce himself, put you over to the boys, all that kind of stuff. Just more good stuff to talk about, the Hulkster. It's going to be sad, it's been fun talking about him a lot, and because it's kind of like I don't even know the right way to put this. I'm not related to him, but it's like a pet passed away, and you just want to keep talking about him and say their memory and stuff. I know that's a weird analogy, but he's not my family member, so I can't really compare him to that. But I do.
It's like losing a part of your childhood.
Yeah. So it's nice to just keep talking about him, and it would be fun to be on some of those planes back in the day with Hogan before they changed all the rules on planes and you could party, smoke, and drink and all that stuff. I could imagine.
Hogan's plane rides were awesome.
Oh, yeah. I could just imagine, too, having somebody like Jericho on that plane ride. They probably were partying up there together. Like I said, the private jet rides. I imagine going on private jet rides with Vince and Hogan was something. I've been reading a lot of stuff about Vince and Hogan and maybe some of the stuff that they were up to with their wives and all that together. It was some pretty horrifying stuff, brother. But
not great.
Yeah. But that being said, just more Hogan nice guy stuff. Not a big surprise. Some cool stuff. And we're going to move on here. And we got a news topic. And this is going to be on Kevin Nash on Hulk Hogan's toughness. So, in episode 160 of the Click This podcast, Kevin Nash discussed Hulk Hogan's toughness, sharing stories from their time together in WCW and WWE. Nash praised Hogan for working through the pain and serious injuries, noting that Hogan was often banged up, but still performed at a high level. Said that Hogan had old school grit, the kind of mindset where you showed up and delivered, even if you weren't anywhere close to 100%. Recalled moments where Hogan's back and knees were shot, but he still went out, did his match, and gave fans what they paid for. And then he emphasized that despite criticisms over the years, Hogan's ability to push through physical issues is why he had such long longevity in the business. So we're going to go ahead and actually watch this this episode here, or this little clip, and watch through with us here, guys.
You know, how many guys that play bass that get talked into their buddies to get into wrestling go down and get their leg busted
by Hero
and show back up?
Right.
Like, everybody else on earth would be like, man, this shit.
For real, though.
Look at the origin of where Terry started.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, he's got, man, when I saw x-rays of the metal he had in his back, and it looked like somebody had twisted it in the I mean, his back was so fucked up for so many years, and he dropped that leg a lot of nights, twice a night. And he was a big old motherfucker. And you look back at those pictures of when he used to drop that leg, and his ass is about top rope height. You know. So
he was getting up there.
He's an athlete, tall guy.
Yep, big dude.
Yeah, no doubt. But
that would destroy anybody's back, especially somebody so huge.
Kind of engineering the success.
I just think
30 years of that, 40 years.
Almost every day. For a while.
300 days a
year. You either learn to get over or you don't.
For a while.
You can't be manufactured and get over. Like they tried to get Batista over as Leviathan or what. It takes each of these guys that have become stars, they find their own spot.
Yep.
And
definitely.
If you're blessed to have a locker room full of really talented guys, you know, I'm sure that Terry learned a shitload from Nick Bockwinkel, especially how to walk around, the locker room before the match with his Gucci loafers on and just a t-shirt, no underwear. Oh, I thought that was.
I haven't tried that yet, but don't think it's not going to happen.
So, I think Gagne talked him into it.
Vern talked him into walking around in Gucci slippers or sandals and just a t-shirt. Oh man, hold on, let me get that one out of there for a second. That's hilarious. I mean, it's true though. I mean, when you think about the physical toll that, I mean, just think about like jumping up on your floor, because you know it's wood underneath it, and it'll give a little bit, right? So you just jump up, about to where where your butt is, a little bit up, you know, about 4 feet up in the air for Hogan, 4.5, and then just landing on your spine every night, multiple times a night. I mean, that's terrible, you know, and he's huge. I mean, it would destroy anybody's back. The fact that he was walking around as long as he did, I heard he wasn't getting around too good the last couple of years, but I mean, anybody that's willing to put their body on the line, you know, I don't know, I'm jumbled up here, but it's like, it's terrible. I couldn't imagine the pain that he's gone through. I haven't worked nearly as hard physically as he has in my life, and I feel terrible. It's just, what do you think?
Well, you know, can't say enough good things about Hulk Hogan, and we all know about all the different surgeries and things of that nature that he went through, and like you just said, dropping 4 feet to your ass every night, 300 plus nights a year, sometimes multiple times in a day, just not great, you know. And at least he did that while he was younger, and you know, obviously once he got to WCW, his schedule was more relaxed. But by then, the damage was already done.
Yeah.
You know, guys like him and Piper were pretty beat up from working through the 80s.
Yeah, and just all the stuff that they did to their bodies, not the recreational, but the other stuff that they were doing to get their size and all that. It's, you know, it took a toll, and that's part of what happened to him the other day, sadly. But I think we can go ahead and move on to our other one here if you want to talk to us about that, and then we'll get into watching
We sure do. We got our next news topic here. Kevin Nash. We're riding the Kevin Nash train. Kevin Nash says Jade Cargill shouldn't be a face. Yeah. Hopefully we can grift some of your people. No, I'm just kidding. I think that he's probably right here. On a recent episode of Click This, Kevin Nash shared his take on Jade Cargill's current WWE portrayal, defended her improvement since AEW, saying that she's vastly better than critics claim. I think that might be a little bit of a stretch, but we'll say for argument's sake that she's improved some. Called her a natural heel, saying that she looks like a Marvel comic book character. That's an accurate assessment. And comparing her to the Narcissist. So like a Lex Luger full of themselves type of character back in the day. That's not a bad thing. Told her directly she should be a heel, believing that's where the big money is. Predicted her eventual turn will lead to high-profile matches, specifically mentioning Rhea Ripley as a marquee opponent. Doesn't see her as a believable or effective babyface long-term. Yeah. So, we got the little video here. Are you ready to get it started, TJ?
Yeah, I have to adjust the little window here a little bit to get Kevin looking
While he gets that ready, we'll just say that Nash basically gave her the nicest backhanded compliment ever, and he said ready, so we're gonna go.
We're going.
You still had Jade versus the women's championship match.
He doesn't know who.
A lot of people
Tiffany.
give Jade like, oh, she hasn't improved at all. So I'm like, you watch the same fucking matches?
She hasn't improved much.
She hasn't improved since
she has,
AEW.
and it definitely hasn't been in the ring.
Like, she's improved vastly. The fucking problem you have with Jade is she is a fucking heel.
She acted like a face when she was a heel in AEW, though.
Right.
I mean,
like a superhero.
If you misuse somebody,
I got an ad.
There's only so much. Or should you be able to do everything? I don't know.
No.
What's the
she's
process?
a natural heel. She looks like a fucking Marvel comic character.
Mm-hmm.
She's the narcissist.
I'm saying she looks like a Marvel character.
I just don't get it, man.
You should tell her.
I do. When I get a chance to talk to her, I tell her, fucking, you should be a heel.
Mm-hmm. Well, so why isn't she?
I think that will be the next progression.
He's not wrong.
Yeah.
Right.
Because the money is with her and
she doesn't know yet, like you said.
The match she just had, that's a rematch there. If you turn her heel, she's got Rhea to work with.
Yeah.
I wouldn't really want to see her work with Rhea.
I mean,
there's money there. To be sure.
Maybe if she gets better, Rhea can pull a good match out of her.
Maybe, and then they say there's money there with her. Right. I don't think Cargill has a money match.
She has power moves.
She's not
aggressive. Like,
she's just there.
Threw her out of the ring and threw her off the. I mean, you can tell that she's, I don't know, she's too urban for that crowd.
She's too urban for that crowd.
Babyface. She's not Bianca.
What?
She's not smiling and.
There's nothing urban about Jade Cargill. She's as white as it gets.
She's not that girl.
Well, I don't know about that, but I just.
She's looking at me.
She's not urban acting
I'm
at
hot
all.
as fuck. I got abs. I'm coming down in Jamaican colors. Go fuck yourself.
Right. You get it.
All right, that's it.
I get it.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not crazy about that take.
Nah. I mean, she should be a heel, but I mean, in the end, her AEW run, she really didn't. She acted like a heel for a bit, but then like they were having her come out with these extravagant entrances and like in her hometown and stuff, acting like a baby face. And I don't know, man. She was used better in AEW, funny enough, and she's the kind of person that you could actually run undefeated with a mid-card belt, and since the matches are so short at that level on the show, she could be highlighted. But instead, like talking about Rhea, no, she should be working with Chelsea Green. Like, that's more the level that she's at. Her promos are garbage.
Chelsea's an expert at selling, so that'd be perfect.
Her promos are garbage. Her in-ring work's just as bad. She's somehow regressed. She's good at posing. She's always been good at that, but I mean, I I can't with a straight face say that she's gotten any better since she's joined AEW. I feel like she's gotten worse. And it just seems like the efforts put into the physique, not really the in-ring, not the promo, definitely not the psychology, because she has absolutely none of that. But that's...
There's a lot of awkward exchanges in her matches, and you'll never hear anybody. I don't think anybody will ever deny that she doesn't look incredible. Her physique, top tier. Like, she is an action figure in real life. No one can deny that. But just, you need a little bit more than that. This is a different time in wrestling. They booked her like Goldberg in AEW essentially, so she was never overexposed.
Yep. And she had a couple decent, like her last match against Chris Statlander, the one that she lost. It was like, no, that wasn't the last one. That was the second to last match she had, and then they had a rematch, and she lost that one too. And they were both really good matches. And Chris Statlander's a great woman talent, you know. But I mean, just a great talent in general.
AEW.
Yeah, and they just haven't really given her the opportunity. But in the end, it's like Jade. I think she's probably like 35, 36 or something. I could be wrong, but by the time she gets to the level that she's going to need to be, she's going to be like 50 years old. Again, with some people, it just doesn't click, just like Maxine. Jade and Maxine...
She's 33. She got a little bit of time, but yeah.
Jade and Maxine are pretty similar when it comes to their in-ring level. It's just Jade can hide it to somewhat because she's more powerful. It's just... not good. I don't want to keep tearing her down. I'm sure she's a great person, you know. I got to call it like I see it. And you ready to move on, or you got anything to add to that?
Nah, we're good. We can go ahead and move on. You know, just do a little bit more work, Jade. You know, you got this. You can do it. You just got to do it.
Yeah. I don't even care about the look. I want the skill. I want the organic promos where you get over, not about how tough you had it or all that stuff. I want to hear about, I don't know. You know the modern wrestler promo, generic stuff these days. Oh, I've always wanted to be a wrestler. I've been dreaming my whole life
Lived
to
in
do
my
this.
car.
Yeah. But all right, let's go ahead and move on. I'm gonna open my door real quick. Would you mind running us through this one?
Sure. While he's opening his door real quick, we got like we went through the last episode. We had the list of injured AEW folks. Well, we're coming back this episode with a list of confirmed injured WWE superstars. There's probably more out there than you might think. So obviously, we got Gunther out with facial fractures. It says a septal hematoma plus orbital blowout fracture. That he is out indefinitely. He had to have some kind of surgery, which I believe he has already had. That's kind of a while to recover. He might be able to come back with some kind of badass mask, face shield type of deal, but Gunther is a guy that can have a long career, and you don't need to rush him back. You got Liv Morgan out with her dislocated shoulder. She had already underwent the surgery, and she's expected a 16-week recovery. Stuff like that is probably a little bit longer, but 16 weeks is a little optimistic. I wouldn't doubt that we'll see her back on TV in 16 weeks, but full-on contact in a match, maybe a little longer than that.
Yeah.
Then we got Zoe Stark, which she suffered a horrific knee injury on Raw. Man, that was so bad. And we were all watching it when it happened. And it was me, Brandon, TJ, and our other friend Ryan, otherwise known as Beatus, who we haven't really brought up on the show before, but he wants to be a guest on here sometime. We might maybe let him, but it'll be a while. Anyway, the Zoe Stark injury was really gruesome. She had her surgery already. She's rehabbing. She's likely out for the rest of the year. I mean, that was pretty rough knee injury. I mean, she'll probably be out a full year from the time that the surgery was completed, which I think was sometime in July. Maybe we'll see her a little sooner than that. I'm not really terribly sure on that. We got old Rey Mysterio, Master of the 619. He tore his groin and ruptured his eardrum. You guys remember that just prior to WrestleMania? So he was pulled from the card, and who did they replace him with? Was that Dragon Lee?
I think so.
Hell yeah! So Dragon Lee got to have his match.
It was Phoenix or Pentagon. Actually,
that's right. I believe it was Rey Fenix. That's right. Rey Fenix got to debut at WrestleMania very early. His surgery was already done. He's expected to return late 2025. I don't know that we'll see him in action. Probably they'll probably have him come back at the Royal Rumble as a surprise entrant. I would think. Why rush him back at the end of the year when there's not really a whole lot going on, when you can just have him rest one more month and bring him back at the Rumble, and he'll get a huge pop and everyone will be happy. And there'll be a bunch of guys in the ring already tired, and he'll run out in 619 like 3 or 4 people, and everyone will be happy.
Yep.
Well, believe it or not, we're not even halfway through the list yet. We're almost halfway, but man, there's a lot of people out. We got Chad Gable, otherwise known as El Grande Americano, allegedly. He's out with that shoulder injury. He had a similar shoulder injury to Liv Morgan, and he had his surgery in July as well. So we'll probably not, both of them are probably missing WrestleMania next year. It'll be a while before they are back. It's cool to see them having Kaiser do the El Grande Americano.
Yeah, it is.
And he's obviously carrying himself differently than how Chad Gable played the character. So it's pretty cool. We got Adriana Rizzo, which I'm not really familiar with. I believe she's on NXT. I haven't been catching all the NXT stuff lately. She had a torn ACL and meniscus that was announced on August 10th. So this just happened. I think it happened on the 10th or the 9th. They had some kind of show. Surgeries planned. We got Apollo Crews, dude from NXT. He's out with a torn pec. Had his surgery back in February. He's still recovering. Torn pec can be one of these things that really nags you for a while. They don't want to rush him back from it. Probably see him back before the end of the year, though. These NXT guys got to get their reps, even though he'd been down there for a while. We got Elton Prince. His injury was announced on SmackDown, and he was pulled from active competition. They didn't really say what it was or how long he's expected to be out, so it's probably just something minor. We got Joaquin Wilde was knocked unconscious during the NXT speed taping, and he was removed from the Worlds Collide card, and we haven't had really much of an update. So, Worlds Collide was, back in June?
Maybe.
So, odds are that this dude's, concussion was pretty severe if he's not back still.
Yeah.
We got how would you think that you say this name?
Ela Dragunov.
Elijah?
Ela.
Okay, thank you. Ela. Okay, thank you. Apparently English is my second language. They have a torn ACL from late 2024, still not cleared.
Yeah, it's a serious one.
That's not great.
Yeah.
And then Big E made it onto the list, even though he's been inactive for a while. He's been out with that neck injury since 2022.
Sucks.
Still inactive. It really does suck. No return date. He's probably not, but the positive thing is he says that he lives every day pain-free. He has full range of motion. He can move and do stuff. So that's ultimately what's most important.
When they're keeping him around and paying him.
Could he come back? Exactly. He's
great at what they got him doing.
Yeah. I can't remember the word that they used. Something to do with the bone in his neck wasn't doing something the way that they had hoped. So it was kind of like a year-by-year evaluation as to where it's at. So, Edge came back from a pretty severe neck injury. Who's to say that Big E couldn't at some point? But at this point, he might not want to risk it, and he's probably comfortable with what he's doing.
For Big E to come back the same way Edge did, there would have to be like a new upstart wrestling promotion that WWE was threatened by, and he would have to leverage joining that promotion to get the money from the WWE, because that's the only reason why Edge was brought back. Same with Daniel Bryan. Well, not same with Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan was different, but we also got Naomi that's on that too. Whatever happened with that earlier?
Well, I listened to as much of the Stephanie show as I could today, and we'll talk about Naomi on there. And
all right.
Her and Jay mentioned wanting to have kids and start a family, but they didn't come out and say that she was pregnant. So
probably
I don't know what's going on. I searched the internet quite a bit today just to see if I missed something on the show that, because obviously if she was pregnant and said that on the show, that'd be blasted out everywhere.
Oh yeah. I was expecting to see that once I saw headlines for the show, but I didn't see that. You figured that would have been the headline.
Yep, that would have definitely been the headline. So maybe she is, and they're just keeping it private for now, or maybe not, and it's just some kind of freak thing where she's not doing great. And if that's the case, speedy recovery. I hate to see anybody get injured, but
Yeah.
Nobody knows what's going on other than them and the company at this point. It's all hush hush.
Yep, they're keeping the belt on her, so maybe they're thinking it's not going to be that long. But
Right.
hopefully everybody on the list gets better soon, and it's the nature of the business. You're going to get hurt. A lot of them are just freak accidents, like the Liv Morgan one didn't look like much, but that's the business. That's the way the cookie crumbles.
Well, and I heard a lot of people say, "Oh, it's because she's small," and it's like, okay, well, guess what? Chad Gable suffered the same injury almost the same way. So,
Yeah. Being small would
anything
actually
can happen.
being small, if they would lend you to not have it actually get injured more because you got less weight and all that. But
Exactly.
we'll go ahead and move on here. We got another news topic, and this one is about the UFC striking a $7.7 billion deal with Paramount and CBS. So the pay-per-view model's gone in 2026 when this deal starts. So we got a story summary here, and the UFC has signed a 7-year, $7.7 billion U.S. broadcast rights deal with Paramount and CBS starting in 2026. All UFC content, including 13 numbered events and 30 fight nights per year, will be included with your regular Paramount Plus subscription. So that means no getting upcharged for the pay-per-views now, the numbered
That's
events.
so awesome. This is for this deal to be how this is, and this is so good. And then what's going on with WWE and
switched.
which we'll cover here in a few minutes, but just
They switched
night
places.
and day difference. This deal rules.
Yeah. So and it's funny because the numbered events, the pay-per-views, what they would have been, they're also going to be simulcast on CBS now. So there's that.
Oh.
So this ends the traditional pay-per-view model in the U.S. where fans currently need an ESPN Plus subscription plus $80 per premium event. So you're essentially got to pay $90 a month to watch the pay-per-view. And that's like sometimes they have them 3 weeks apart. It's a joke. It's like one of the most expensive sports to watch in the world these days. So Paramount will pay an average of $1.1 billion per year with a weighted structure paying less early in the deal. UFC's U.S. rights are covered. Paramount may bid for international rights when available. So that is one thing that the UFC still has left is their international rights. And also maybe their content. I don't know if they're going to maybe put the library of all the fights on Paramount. They haven't mentioned that yet.
Awesome.
Yeah, they haven't mentioned that. See, they have the UFC they have UFC Fight Pass, and maybe they'll still keep that. I'm not sure. I wish they would kind of that app sucks. By the way, it's terrible. But anyways, Dana White calls it a huge win for fans and athletes, putting UFC amongst the biggest sports in the world. Well, now it's time to start paying them like it's one of the biggest sports in the world because they certainly do not do that. But in the end, this is huge, the sport's literally going from costing, essentially, if you get Fight Pass 2 to watch the full library, costing $100 a month, going down to $8, $12.99 if you got the biggest one. I'm sure it'll go up by a couple bucks, but I mean, this is a deal. I've been wanting this my whole life. It makes sense, and it's awesome that they got the whole package. We're not going to be having to look around on all these different apps or like on Netflix or Peacock or however the WWE is structured. This is a win, and this is huge for fans. And I think a lot of it had to do with the pay-per-view model kind of dying and UFC not being as successful as it was when COVID popped up because they were one of the first sports to pop up. So they were doing huge on pay-per-view then. They were doing great. But, it's nobody wants to pay this amount of money. And the big problem is streaming illegally is easier than ever. The links are better quality than ever. You can find hundreds of links out there that look almost the same quality as the pay-per-view.
This is all allegedly. We would never, tell people.
Well, this is what I've heard. That's all. But it's amazing. I can't put it over enough. I'm super excited. I've been talking to Dave, I remember the day it happened. I'm like, man, I'm pumped about this. I can't wait. 2026 is going to be amazing. I hope that they stream this in 4K. I doubt they will, but if they do that, it'll be like the cherry on top to Sunday. And anybody that's UFC fan should be super excited about this. And if you're an old fan that kind of got lost out of this because they started splitting all their content up, this should be for you. It'll be easier to watch than ever. It'll be cheaper than ever. And, there's a lot of great talent out there these days. So it'll be, I think it's really going to blow the sport up, and it's going to get way bigger, and it's going to be really good for the sport in general, not just the UFC.
I couldn't have said it better, and I 100% agree. This is a very exciting time to be an MMA fan, and I think this is going to pull a lot of lapsed fans back, and they're going to make a lot of new fans just because of the ease of access.
Yep. It could be like the Spike TV days.
Yeah.
Chuck and Tito.
Oh, yeah. Great time. Yeah.
And if Paramount... I'm sorry. If Paramount really goes into this, because they're going to have all the analyst things too, like the post press or post and pre conferences. But if they really do this right, and Paramount goes and like starts putting like documentaries together and stories and putting like little like following fighters around, and it's going to really blow them up like really big. But that's enough of that. We got one other MMA segment, but we'll talk about that later. Right now, it's kind of funny that we were talking about this deal because it's perfect for Dave to pivot into kind of what's not a good deal here.
Yeah, well, in the last segment, we mentioned all the different places that you have to go to watch WWE, and we thought, not great. We thought that it might be cool to kind of get all of the information and put it out there for everybody so you could see exactly what it will cost to watch WWE in the US in 2026. And spoiler alert, it's a lot more than we're paying now. So we're just going to break it down for each subscription per year. So we've got Raw on Netflix with ads, of course, at $7.99 a month at $95.88 a year. A side note about that is it does not have the entire Raw library. I do see that it gets updated infrequently there, but it does get updated some. I would really like to see there's no reason that they couldn't just have the whole Raw library on there now. They have it. It exists. Put it on there. Anyway, we got SmackDown plus the WWE library. That's on the USA Network and plus Peacock with ads. Peacock is $10.99 a month, which is $131.88 a year, or $107.99 if you do the annual thing. And live SmackDown needs USA via cable or VPD, whatever that is. I have no idea. But yeah, so that stuff is going to continue to air on Peacock, but not in the fashion that what we were getting before. There'll be no PLEs and stuff like that. It'll be much more limited. So I don't know how good of a value that's going to be. And then we got the PLEs, ESPN's new DTC app. This is the one that everybody hates.
A VMVPD is just like Sling TV. It's the live internet TV stuff.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
The same shit.
Yeah, it's just some other shit you got to pay for. So we got the DTC app, like I was saying, $29.99 a month or $359.88 a year. Man, they're really putting the screws to us. Unless you pay for a TV provider that authenticates it at no extra cost, and we covered that in a previous video. Yeah, if you go back on our channel, you can watch. We break down all of the providers that will give you access to it at no cost to you. So definitely go check that out. And we move on here to the YouTube TV, and that gets you USA and ESPN authentication option. Otherwise, it's $82.99 a month or $995.88 a year. That's if you go that route instead of the ESPN DTC. So, I mean, this is an obscene amount of money. So the cost scenarios yearly here, the cheapest streaming service only bundle, the Netflix at $95.88 plus Peacock annual at $107.99 plus ESPN DTC at $359.88 equals out to be $563.75 a year, $43.98 a month. Versus the WWE Network at $9.99 a month for $119 a year, plus $43.87 a year, and $370.26 equals 3.7 times more. That's crazy. Reality Check This gets you Raw PLEs and most of the library. Live SmackDown still not included unless you pay for cable or the VMVPD
Sling
like
TV.
we talked about earlier. Yep. Now, the Everything Live path using YouTube TV. This is Netflix. I'm not going to name all the prices again. We'll just go through this. You got Netflix plus Peacock and YouTube TV. And this all totals out to being $1,199. I'm sorry, $1,199. I don't know why I can't say that. And 75 cents a year.
Basically
That's an
$1,200.
obscene increase. What was that? I'm sorry.
Basically $1,200.
Yeah. So versus the WWE Network, that's $1,079.89 a year. This is a 900.79% increase. It's 9 times more than what we were already paying. 9 times. That's obscene. If you subscribe to the YouTube TV just for SmackDown, that's $82.99 a month just for SmackDown. Roughly $20.75 per SmackDown after you've added the Netflix Peacock.
That's terrible.
That's so much money. Yeah. So if you already have the qualifying cable or the other thing that authenticates ESPN and USA, you got incremental streaming. You'd add Netflix and Peacock, and that would be $203.87 a year, which is a little bit more palatable. It's still a 70% increase versus the network, and that doesn't include your cable bill you're already paying. So yeah, not great. So the monthly quick hits, the old network, like we talked about, was $9.99. The cheapest, it ends up being $46.98 a month. Like we said, 3.7 times the old price. The all-in with the YouTube TV, 9 times the old price. The PLEs alone on ESPN, 3 times the old network price just to watch a monthly special. Craziness. You got anything that you want to add before we move on? Because this is a long topic. We're almost to the end, though.
Yeah, no. Just a lot of money. It's terrible.
We got some fine print here that the says that we'll want to mention, so we're going to mention it. The ESPN DTC authentication. Only some providers are expected to include PLE access at no extra charge at launch. Others will require the $30 a month sub. Like I said, we covered that in our other video. This is fluid and could change before 2026 because there's always moving parts to this kind of stuff. The library gaps. Netflix doesn't have the entire Raw library like we mentioned before. Peacock's WWE library is missing Raw and NXT weekly libraries. Taxes and fees and prices can change by the time we get to 2026. It's a whole lot. So we've gone from one stop $9.99 WWE network shopping to $47 to $100 a month juggling act across 3 apps, plus maybe a cable replacement. It's a monster jump. The cheapest path is 370% more than the network area. That's insane. And the watch everything live route, 901% more, like we had said earlier. That's fantastic for corporate ARPU charts, but it's brutal for fans who just want to keep up. The access might be there, but it's scattered and pricey. Welcome to the bundled, unbundled, and rebundled area. This is not great. We're all getting bent over pretty bad here, and the UFC deal with Paramount is way better than this, and the international WWE deals also way better than this. If you're in a overseas country or in Canada or Mexico, you're doing great with Netflix. If you're in America, well, sucks to be you.
Pretty much. Yeah, it's rough, man, but what are you going to do? It's this is what these companies are doing. They found out that they can monetize the US fan bases of whatever. I mean, it's food, entertainment, services. Everything's just a lot of money, and WWE, they're really monetizing their fans, and it's super anti-consumer, and they're not the only one out there doing it, but it is the way it is. And I suggest that everybody check out something like private internet access, and there's a lot of different options out there that'll take care of it to make it so you may not have to pay as much for this.
Well, that's solid advice.
Yep.
Well, why don't you tell us about what else is going on in the news? We got a lot of news today,
Yeah, we
everybody. It's this is about as long of an episode, I think, as what we used to do when it was like a full everything breakdown of Raw.
That was like 3 hours.
And like pay-per-views and stuff, yeah.
This won't be 3 hours, I don't think. But,
Oh, no, yeah.
But anyways.
We did do some, like a 3-hour show, didn't
multiple.
we? God.
But
what were we thinking?
I don't know. It wasn't bad. We had fun. But
Yep.
anyways, we got a report here, and it's Brock Lesnar versus Cena, and it's planned for September. Their WWE PLE, and it's going to go head-to-head with the pay-per-view that AEW has. Forget the name of that one. But so according to Dave Meltzer, the guy that makes half of the stuff up or just guesses all the time, WWE's newly added but not officially announced September 20th, 2025 premium live event is going to be running head-to-head with AEW's All Out, and it will be main evented by John Cena versus Brock Lesnar. The event location is in Indianapolis, Indiana, and WWE is clearly stacking the card for their first ever main roster PLE, going directly against a major AEW pay-per-view. So the reason Lesnar isn't at Clash in the Paris August 30th is because WWE wanted to save him for this show, with Logan Paul taking the Paris booking instead. This will be Lesnar's first match in over 2 years following his attack on Cena at SummerSlam 2 weeks ago. So part of Cena's farewell tour is this is going to be part of his farewell tour, and it's going to be scheduled to end late 2025. So their history includes Extreme Rules in 2012, which is crazy that was that long ago. This is Lesnar's brutal return match versus Cena, in SummerSlam 2014, which was Lesnar's dominant Suplex City win over John Cena for the WWE World Heavyweight title. He squashed Cena in that match.
Routed him, dude.
Yeah. So basically, I 100% believe this. It's kind of funny because Dave says that they're like purposely, they want to put Tony Khan out of business, and they're going to keep countering their pay-per-views like this because they think they can't let him get any closer, or he's going to take them over and they'll never get rid of him. And it's like, I don't know if it's just that. I just think this is WWE 101. It's TKO 101. This is stuff that UFC was doing. This is a cutthroat business, and they did run their mouth about WWE a lot. So I don't see any reason why this won't continue, and I'm not going to debate whether it's right or wrong. I just know it's business, and I don't think that they're thinking that, from what Dave said, it's like, they don't want him to get another TV deal, and they know if he keeps these kind of ratings, these great ratings up, he's going to get a better deal. It's like, if he keeps the rating ups at the pace they're going now, they're going to have like 20% less viewership by the time this happens. So I don't know. It's funny, Dave was saying, he literally, this is like a quote, when they start making money, they're going to be insanely profitable. And it's like, well,
how would he know that?
Well, not only that, I would hope that when they make money, they're going to be profitable. That's usually how that goes. But it's just funny.
Water is wet.
It's just funny because, and then he went to say that they are already insanely profitable. It's like, well, how would you know? Because nobody in that company told you their financials. You don't know anything that's going on with their money. They're a privately owned company. Unless you own a chunk of the company, you don't know. This is owned by a company called like the Beatniks Investments LLC. Eventually we will find out if he owns part of the company, but in the end, it's just a fancy guess. And this match should be good. If you want to counter program, this is the match to do it with. I'm looking forward to seeing Brock and Cena go at it, and I'm sure that they're going to stack this card, and I'm looking forward to it.
Oh yeah, I assume it'll be a Saturday night main event because it's there are no announced cards for that date on the WWE calendar at this point, and it's on a Saturday, so safest bet would be Saturday night main event probably.
Yeah, that may happen, but yeah, it's poor AEW, huh? The company owned by a multi-billionaires family. They're really going to struggle, huh?
Yeah, maybe not though. Well, speaking of struggles, we'll move on to the next news topic here, and we have some reports providing some potential details about Naomi being pulled from the Raw title match. We still don't have a lot of info, But current women's world champion Naomi was pulled from her scheduled title defense on Raw just hours before the show, and the reasons still remain unknown even after the Stephanie podcast today. PW Insider Elite reports that Naomi was backstage at Raw, so it was not travel issues. It's unclear if she stayed for the entire taping or left early. The reason for the change was reportedly not shared with the rest of the locker room. Naomi was originally set to defend against Io Sky, but instead Sky faced Roxanne Perez, and Perez won after the outside interference from Raquel Rodriguez, Asuka, and Kairi Sane. And I think we saw an Asuka heel turn here. I'm not sure. I don't really care either way. And then we had no on-air update that was given regarding Naomi's status, which is weird. Naomi and her husband Jimmy appeared on Stephanie McMahon's podcast today, and they did not address the absence there, at least not that I heard or read anywhere. So it's still a big mystery. She has been the champion since last month's Evolution PLE, cashing in on Io Sky during the match she had with Rhea Ripley and retained in a triple threat earlier this month. Right now, it's all hush-hush on why Naomi got pulled. It's rare that WWE makes these kind of change without at least hinting at a reason. She was there, she was set to defend, and then nothing. Totally unconfirmed, but we can't ignore some fans and folks backstage are speculating that she may be pregnant. If that's the case, congrats would be in order. But until we hear it from Naomi herself, it's just a theory. Either way, something's up, and we were going to say that maybe we'll get more answers on the podcast, but that happened today, and we did not get more answers on the podcast. So I don't know. Maybe it still could be a pregnancy thing, and they're not ready to announce it because they're figuring out how they're going to tell the story on the show. I have no idea. I literally am racking my brain, and I can't come up. Maybe she just had some kind of injury. She hit her head or something. I don't know. What do you think about all this, DJ?
Usually when they act like this, it's a severe concussion, and they just don't want to come out. They're not crazy about the whole CTE thing, and they don't really like coming out when they have these big concussion deals. Like even JD McDonough, I feel like when he, was it, I forget who had the concussion recently, but even with like Hook in AEW, they didn't want to come out and talk about the concussion stuff, even though he was throwing up and all that. So both companies want to distance themselves from it. And I think if we were to make a safe bet, if it's not pregnancy, the severe concussion is right underneath. They can't clear to be in there. They did a neurological scan, whatever they do to find that stuff out, and she didn't pass it.
Yep.
All right. Well, I guess it's about all we can talk about that, brother. And we're going to talk about I learned something about this guy today. So, WWE Charles Robinson, hospitalized after bat bite, lives in Mooresville, which is where I work.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, legendary WWE referee Charles Robinson has had a rough 2025. So he took a spear from Goldberg in Saturday night's main event, resulting in a cracked rib, and was yeeted by John Cena at Night of Champions. Most recently, hospitalized after being bitten by a bat at 2 a.m., requiring 6 shots at the ER. He shared a story on Instagram with a picture of a bat, jokingly calling it a cutie, and despite the rib injury, Robinson vowed to be back on SmackDown the following week. Goldberg, speaking on the Ariel Helwani show, explained he specifically requested Robinson for the match, praising him as indestructible but apologized for the injury. Charles Robinson's a man. He's the leader of the ring crew there. He's a really hard worker. He's a pretty big part of their operation going on there, and he definitely takes bumps. Cena just knocked the crap out of him when he hit him.
Bro, and trucked him.
Yeah, I bet you he was like, man, this is it right here. I've been waiting to do this to you for a while.
he was so close to hitting the steps there. Like, he landed in just the right spot to make it look devastating.
Yeah, I don't know what my dogs are doing down there, but anyways,
dog stuff.
Yeah, he's the man, Lil Nate. He's been at it for forever, and it's kind of crazy that he got bitten by a bat. I'm sure he's gonna be okay. I've never been bitten by one. Don't ever want to be.
I got a funny little, not really funny little Nate story, but just a little Nate story. We probably like 2013, 2014, we went to a house show in Lakeland, Florida, probably like 45 minutes from my house, give or take. And, he was there reffing, and obviously, as you know, he's part of the ring crew. And the main event was a cage match. So before the main event, he's out there helping him, put the cage together it was the big blue cage, that blue metal cage that they used
it's
to
my favorite
use.
one.
It was that. Yeah, it was awesome. So I never thought I'd get to see a match in that kind of cage because they kind of phased that out. I thought in the '90s, but apparently they used it still on house shows. But he was out there, and we're like, "Yo, Lil Nate," just hollering out to him and shit, and he's like, waving to us and everything. It was probably pretty cool for him to have people marking out to him like he was, one of the boys essentially.
Yeah, I'll never forget Austin dressing up as a custodian or whatever, tricking McMahon locking the thing. And then he takes the mask off or whatever. But Little Nate's the man. Hopefully he gets well soon, and he was right back on the show. I'm pretty sure. So, nah, he didn't miss anything. But
nope, he's a true soldier.
Yeah. So you want to soldier on to the next one here?
Sure will. We got a brand new news topic here. This actually came out today. We got a report that TNA is open to moving to Wednesday nights to go head to head with AEW Dynamite. That'd be awesome. A wrestling war would be rad. According to Takedown, which is part of Sports Illustrated, TNA Wrestling's U.S. media rights talks are heating up, with the CW emerging as a serious contender for their new TV home. As everybody knows, the CW already airs WWE NXT on Tuesdays, with some WWE stakeholders reportedly wanting TNA to be on the network as well. The TNA president, Carlos Silva, did not deny the rumors, saying that negotiations are ongoing with positive momentum. One scenario that's being discussed is moving TNA's weekly show from Thursdays to Wednesdays directly against AEW Dynamite, same time slot and everything. Silva claims that any more would be about TNA's best interest, not direct competition. Uncle Dave reports that WWE is actively trying to position TNA as the number 2 promotion and harm AEW in the process. I don't know that that's true. I feel like they're probably just treating it as another farm system at this point, and Uncle Dave's just in love with AEW, so he'll say that anything that WWE is doing is bad and for the worse for AEW. And Silva says that WWE and UFC's recent media rights deals have changed the market, prompting more interest in TNA. While Silva had hoped for a deal by Bound for Glory October, further meetings are now expanded this month. So if this happens, Wednesday nights could turn into a wrestling turf war. Dynamite versus TNA, on one hand, is a risky move for TNA to run headed first into AEW's night. On the other, though, if WWE is really backing the play, this could be a fairly aggressive chess move that we've seen outside of the Monday Night Wars. Either way, wrestling fans are the ones who win, unless you like having free time on Wednesdays. The cool thing about this, obviously we don't watch TNA now. If it's on the CW, there's no reason to not watch it. I'd literally have my TVs, my monitor right on top of my TV. I would have both of them on, like we used to do with Raw and Nitro back in the day, just to kind of get some of that nostalgic feeling of having 2 wrestling programs to watch in one night at the same time, fighting for your eyes. That would probably make both promotions do a little better in an effort to draw your eyes from the one promotion to the other. I don't know. What do you think about all that? You think this is a reality, or you think this is just them trying to drum up interest for their product?
It could be a reality, but it would hurt AEW, and they're already, like, TNA has nothing to lose, so, like, they would benefit no matter what. But yeah, I could see this being a realistic thing. And the messed up thing is like somebody's trying to maybe like buy TNA too. So like that could be WWE, and then they could have another company go up against AEW on Wednesdays.
Now, do you think would you watch? Would you start to watch if it was on Wednesday? I know it doesn't really make a difference that it's on Thursdays, but would you put it on if it was on CW?
I'm not sure. Maybe.
Gotcha.
Maybe not. We'll see. Like I said, I'm going to start giving TNA a try when the Hardys have that one match against the Dudleys or whatever the deal was.
We'll definitely watch that. That's the Bound for Glory in October. Yeah. Bound for Glory, I believe, I might be misremembering, but I think that's their big deal pay-per-view of the year, like their WrestleMania, so to speak.
Well, I'll be watching then. and we'll be talking about it.
We got the Hardys versus the Dudleys. What's not to watch? I know a lot of people have been critical because these guys are all older now. I'm giving it a positive spin, and I'm excited for it.
All right. So, I think that being said, we can wrap that one up there if you don't have anything else to add.
Nope, that's good. Thank you.
All right, cool. So, we're going to do our second little topic about some MMA here, and it's something that popped up today. So, Conor McGregor was apparently removed from the UFC Fight Tracker. And this is all reported. I don't think we've heard anything concrete about this yet, but usually when this guy puts somebody's been removed, he's pretty much on it. So the summary of this whole deal is Conor McGregor's name has been quietly removed from the UFC's official fight tracker, fueling speculation about his fighting future. The tracking list upcoming and scheduled bouts and McGregor's removal suggests that no active fight is on the books, which he hasn't fought in 4 years. This comes after months of uncertainty following his long layoff and rumors of comeback plans. UFC has not issued an official statement on this change. Conor McGregor last stepped into the octagon on July 10th, 2021 at UFC 264, where he suffered a broken leg against Dustin Poirier, resulting in a doctor stoppage TKO in the first round. Was it the first round? As of today, August 14th, 2025, it has been just over 4 years and 1 month since that fight. More precisely, that's about 4 years and 1 month, or roughly 1,501 days since his last UFC bout. So
hell of a layoff.
So for the past 3 years, Conor McGregor was supposed to fight Michael Chandler. They were opposing coaches on The Ultimate Fighter Season 31 in 2023, and the UFC scheduled the fight for June 29, 2024 at UFC 303, but it never happened after McGregor suffered a training injury earlier that month. So the rivalry dragged on for over a year through social media and until September 2024 when Dana White announced that they were no longer pursuing this fight. And look, we can't really talk about Conor McGregor without bringing up the string of legal history. He's just had a ton of issues over the past couple of years. We're talking about arrests, lawsuits, assault allegations, public incidents, from the bus attack in Brooklyn to punching a man in a Dublin pub to multiple run-ins with the law overseas. You know, it's been a steady stream of headlines that have kept his name in the news for all the wrong reasons, and it's fair to wonder that if that played a role in the UFC moving away from him. McGregor reportedly is off the UFC roster, and I don't think that's the end of him fighting. I think it's the start of him fighting somewhere else. My money says that we see him in bare-knuckle fighting championships. He's already a part owner. He's been cage side at some of the biggest events, and it would be the perfect move for him. You step away from the UFC spotlight and create a whole new one for himself in bare knuckle. And he's got a stake in it, so him fighting there would get him a lot of money. He could cut out the middleman, do pay-per-views himself, since that could be a reason too, since UFC's getting away from the pay-per-view model. He might have it put in his contract that he only fights in pay-per-views. I never even thought about that because he gets the bonus from it. So
right, that would make sense.
Yeah, that could have a lot to do with this. But you know, it's he hasn't been fighting. I'll be surprised if he does. Sorry. So when it came to MMA, I've told you this before. I've told this to anybody that asks. He's never fighting again. We will never see him fight in MMA again. Now, bare knuckle fighting, I could see him doing that, especially since he's part owner of the company. But that's a very brutal sport. People take a lot of damage, permanent damage. They get teeth knocked out. It's very dangerous. I won't want anything to do with it, but I could see him doing that. And if this is true that he's gone, you can bet your butt that's where he'll be going. Got anything to add to that, Dave?
There's a reason that UFC moved to wearing gloves and not, doing bare knuckle. And they added rules so that, for the longevity sake of the fighters. Because if your dudes are out there throwing haymakers with bare knuckles, smashing each other's face, you're not going to last very long. You're going to have a very short career, regardless of how long you want to do it or not. It just, whatever. Maybe he'll do it. I don't think it's the smartest idea for him, but at this point, he doesn't really make smart ideas. And if UFC's not going to do anything with him, I guess he's got to do something.
Yeah, but that's about all I got on that segment. I just wanted to talk about him. I mean, he's a huge, big, popular guy. Everybody knows about him, so we talk about MMA a little bit now, and I figured it was appropriate.
Well, yeah, that was the news, everybody. And then we got a nice little segment here that we promised you, and we've been reviewing each episode one a week here, we got the WWE Unreal Episode 3, Worth the Wait. This episode focuses on the WWE Women's Division as they pave the road towards WrestleMania. Chelsea Green finally earns her championship opportunity. Charlotte Flair makes a poignant return from injury, and Bianca Belair locks in her WrestleMania spot by winning at Elimination Chamber. The Bianca Belair segment, she embraces her signature long braid as both a personal trademark and a weapon in the ring, defining her persona of the EST of the WWE. I had no idea what this actually meant, but any word, according to her, any word that is positive that ends in EST, biggest, strongest, fastest,
corniest.
Best, that's yeah, exactly. That's what describes her. So I learned what EST meant this episode. I had never known that before. Did you know that?
Nope. Goofiest, dumbest.
Yeah. Dumbest, worstest. Oh wait, that's not a word. Yeah. And then we got the Chelsea Green storyline. She reflected on her many ring names. Laurel Van Ness was a personal favorite of mine. I don't know why that one stuck out to me. And her fierce desire to be a star, compete with glittery gear, skirted outfits, and comedic willingness to pour salsa and cake on her head for a booking. I really liked the Chelsea segment here. She reflected on her struggles of being. Yeah, she talked about being left off Survivor Series despite inviting her friends and family. That was really shitty. I wasn't a fan of that, and you could tell how bummed out that she actually was about it. Overcoming injuries, getting released, and then personally reaching out to Triple H to fight for her spot again in 2022. And lo and behold, he gave it back to her. She won the inaugural U.S. Women's Championship, a historic moment she'd always dreamed of, with Rhea Ripley and others backstage celebrating her success. That's really cool. That's one of those things that, will always be in the WWE history book. She's the first women's U.S. champion. That's one of those things that in the future,
absolutely,
like
can't take it away.
20, 30 years from now, when there are other gals fighting for this title, they'll be like, oh, in 2025, the first ever champion of this, Chelsea Green. And, they'll be carting her out there to do a comeback when she's like in her 50s or whatever, just like they're doing with Trish Stratus now. And Charlotte Flair's return on the episode. She made an emotional comeback after her knee surgery with support from her dad, Ric Flair. And she overcomes pressure and delivers a triumphant performance in the Royal Rumble, eliminating major competitors to earn her Mania spot. There was Elimination Chamber stuff. They highlighted the brutal nature of the all-women's match in Toronto, where Bianca Belair uses her braid as a weapon and pins Liv Morgan and punches her golden ticket to WrestleMania. That was actually a pretty solid Elimination Chamber, that match, and they brought that was one of the things they had Roxanne Perez do before she was on the main roster, so that was kind of everybody's introduction to her. That and the Rumble, they kept bringing her in for these major matches, and we see that she's involved in a lot of storylines now, so started there a little bit. Now, why this episode matters: it offered rare behind-the-scenes insight of WWE's creative process and some personal journeys of its female stars. And I said journeys really weird there. I don't know why. This highlights not just athleticism, but character, resilience, and emotion, making it compelling, not compelling. I don't know why I can't talk. Even for non-wrestling fans. I think this is a good show for non-wrestling fans to watch. And if you're a wrestling fan, it's good for you to watch too. This episode I thought was all right. There was some cool stuff on it. I especially, like I said, enjoyed the Chelsea Green part. Some of it still feels like we're getting worked some, but overall I thought it was a decent episode. What do you think of all this? Did you enjoy it?
The Bianca Belair stuff, while I wasn't too crazy, I'm not the biggest fan of her. She seems personable. She's really into what she's doing, and she's really taken to this wrestling stuff, and it's her life. She's really enjoying it.
One thing that I noticed about her was that they brought up that she makes her own ring gear. That's not something that I was aware of. So probably sometime in the future when she retires from in-ring, that might be something that she does for some of the up-and-coming, girls in the future. She might have a future with that sort of thing, or maybe she'll start her own ring gear company. Who knows? I
really like the Chelsea Green stuff. She seems like really down-to-earth, funny girl, great attitude, super smart, successful person. She was a breath of fresh air compared to, I feel like, a lot of the modern women that you see that are just all glitz and glamour and in their phone a lot, and you know what I'm talking about. And Charlotte just felt her part of the show felt super manufactured. Like when she went out and won the Royal Rumble, they like had the crowd cheering, and that wasn't the reaction that she got at the Rumble. And the only part
she got booed fairly heavily, I thought.
Yeah, the only part where they kind of went over that is when she was talking to Triple H right after a match, when she went up to him in Gorilla and was like, I wasn't sure what to do. And he said, always just go with the flow, just be real, whatever. So I guess that's what they ended up starting to have her do. But Chelsea Green was definitely the highlight of this episode. Bianca Belair wasn't too bad. It's nice kind of them personalizing these girls, but there was nothing about Charlotte that felt personable. It was just Bianca and Chelsea, and that's really all I got to say about it. It was cool seeing the chick's point of view a little bit, and Stephanie was talking about him a lot, and she's been all over this thing. But I like this episode. I'm looking forward to the next two.
Yeah, I think it'll be good. Well, speaking of that, we were joking before about when we talked about products and things of that nature. I've got a product right here, and something that I like a lot here. Wow. Arizona sweet tea. Yeah, I thoroughly enjoy these. They do not sponsor the show, but maybe someday they will. A big fan of the sweet teas and the Arnold Palmers.
Oh, you opening it up on? Oh wow, it didn't pick it up.
Well.
Show that logo one more time while you... Arizona tea, the official tea of the OverMark Podcast.
That's right. Send us cases of this stuff. We'll put you over every episode. Love you, dude. Arizona.
Yeah, brother. But I think that being said, we're going to go ahead and wrap this episode up. It's been a long one. Like we said, we had plenty of news to talk about, and we're going to go ahead and get these up to you in the single format like we do on the clips throughout the week. We really appreciate we've had a lot of people subscribing, talking to us. It's been really cool. We've been enjoying the dialogue, and it's been a lot of fun, and it makes this whole thing more fun having people check us out a little bit. And this part where me and Dave talk about how much we appreciate each other and sound like we're Jay and Silent Bob with the whole hetero life buddies or whatever it is.
That's right.
But I appreciate you, Dave, and I appreciate, again, do this thing we do every week. Appreciate anybody that listens. It's we're having a lot of fun doing this, and join the Discord. Come and talk to us. You can watch the shows with us if you want to. We're on here every week listening to these shows on Discord. If that's something that you guys might want to have some interest in, we're there.
Yeah, we could do like a watch party or something, because we, in our private Discord that we game in, we usually watch it with our homies, so it wouldn't be anything for us to hop over in the OverMark Discord and maybe watch it with some of you guys.
Maybe that's what we'll do.
See what you think in real time. Yeah.
But that being said, like I said, we appreciate you, and we're gonna have our SmackDown and Collision recap next week. We got some more news, King of the Hills, episode 3 and 4, and who knows what else. Yeah, we work on this throughout the week, and we pick what we want to talk about. If you guys want us to talk about anything, let us know. But you don't want to miss this episode. I promise you it's going to be a good one, action-packed like the one that we had tonight. Check out our social media like always, at OverMark ENT, and I'm about to sign off here. I appreciate all you over maniacs for listening. And I'm out of here. Go ahead and sign us off, Dave, and we'll hit the music.
Oh yeah, good show, TJ. Fucking TV. I was looking at the TV behind you and the thing. You guys have a good night.
Well, let me tell you something, brother.
All right, have a good one, guys. We're out of here.
Just to survive. Our muscles are fake.